Putin moves south. Struggle for Eurasian heartland. Some more actions, observations, and outcomes. Now, bottom line up front, just did what appeared to be a big attack here, appeared to be a big decisive standoff, showdown, whatever you want to call it, and the result, the roll is the 3 right here. I'll get to the explanation, but the 3 was attack stalled. Attack stalled, yep. So the gist of it is that the NATO SF unit, MUSOC, is going to go, and the NATO fighter unit, tactical air unit, are going to go back to the staging area. The Russian tactical air unit and the 3 Russian SF units are going to go back to the staging area, and it will still have cost 1 action point for these 2 hyperwar units, 18th Airborne Corps and the MEF Corps here to conduct this attack. It still costs that action point, but that's about it. So so I'll talk through the 3 actions just completed and then some observations. So first, to get the 18th Airborne Corps up here, I did an air movement. Well, it's a movement action. It's a movement action. You declare the type of movement during the procedure. So I declare an air movement. As far as I understand it, I did not see that I could not. I didn't see that I could not air move right up into the ZOC of the Russian Combined Arms Corps there, Second Guards. So I did. I rolled 11, which is great. So when you do an air movement, you're rolling 2 dice for movement allowance. I rolled a great 11, which allowed me to come up. This 18th Airborne Corps was down on the edge of the map in Afghanistan, southwest of Herat, and so I was able to air move them up here, which is part of Turkmenistan here. So that was that action. Now the initiative, so that's the air movement, now goes to the Russian side. The Russian side launched an attack up here. They took their 41st Combined Arms Corps there, 41st Combined Arms Corps in the city of Karaganda there in central eastern Kazakhstan, and they attacked the PRC 15th Airborne Corps there just south of the city. Let's see, both sides brought in, both sides brought in support units. Both sides brought in support units. I don't even remember what the final column was actually. Die roll was a 2. The result was a bloodbath. Bloodbath means both sides take a step loss. So 2 ground units, 2 regular units, 2 mobile units. So I flipped them both over. So they're both on their reduced sides. So here's an example. PRC 15th Airborne Corps is on its reduced side now, strength of 2. And likewise, the Russian Combined Arms Corps is on its back side, reverse side, now strength of 3. Now these 3 rolls, the 4, and the 1, are the rolls for the 3 Russian SF units that were brought in. So 2 of them were put forward. We're in turn 3 still. 1, 2, 3. So 2 of them went to turn 7. 7 because of the 2 rolls 4. So they're placed on the turn 7 block. And 1 just went forward 1 turn to turn 4. So they'll come right back in when we're getting ready to start turn 4, which isn't that long because the coalition is now down to 3 action points and the Russians are down to 7. So we're getting towards the end of turn 3. Yeah, so that's what these 3 rolls were. 4, 4, and 1 are the turns, the number of turns from now that the 3 Russian SF units come back in, they come back into this. Oh. Do they come back into the reinforcement? They must come back to the reinforcement area. And I hadn't thought about that, at least not recently. Anyways, so that's all that. Now the action comes back to coalition side. Since I moved the 18th Airborne Corps up here, I was ready to stage an attack against the Russian 2nd Guards Combined Arms Corps there. So they're both hyperwar units, so instead of costing 2, instead of a cost of 2 for them to attack, it's just 1 because they're both hyperwar units. There's that. So declare the combat action. This is a multi-unit attack when all attacking units are hyperwar. That's the action. Designate the defending hex, 2nd Russian Guard Corps there, Combined Arms Corps there. The odds are 2 to 1 because it's 8 plus 7, 15 against 6, 2 to 1. Yeah, we started in the 2 to 1 column. Both sides committed a tactical air unit. They're one NATO tactical air unit, Russian tactical air unit. So those canceled each other out. We're still at 2 to 1. Then we go. Then you're supposed to secretly commit your SF. That's going to be interesting playing face to face, I think. There is no who does it first. The air is the attacker commits first, then the defender. But SF is simultaneous. So I had the NATOs commit the MUSOC here, and these are per strength point. So this is worth 2 column shifts here. But the Russians went ahead and, I mean, the Russians have they seem to have a lot of SF. I don't know about a lot in raw numbers, but certainly a lot compared to the coalition. So anyways, they committed 3 units for a total of 4 column shifts, which means that the coalition attack was way down on the not way down, but it was down on the 1 to 2 column. Then I rolled the 3, get the attack stalled result. So attack stalled. These guys come back to the staging area. These ones go back to the Russian staging area. Alright, now some very general comments. So in a way, it's a pretty dynamic game. At least I'll say it feels dynamic. It feels dynamic in that it's kind of a game of managing column shifts is what it is. And part of managing your column shifts is managing the cycling of your units as they go from future turns, being available at some time down the road, beyond the current turn, and the reinforcement box to the staging area. So a lot of it seems to be managing these column shifts. Now given that, and I'm going to go ahead and make an observation based on really early impressions here, it seems that it's loss of units seems to be fairly significant. So just as an example, I mean, if the Russians had lost the 2nd Guards Combined Arms Corps there, and just for example, the PRC had lost their 15th Airborne Corps, those are permanent losses. I think those are significant because then the relative advantage to the opponent, I think is fairly significant. And maybe even more important is the loss of the support units that give you those column shifts. So back to the column shift idea, that this is kind of a game of managing your column shifts. Still like it. Still looking forward to face-to-face play. That'll be really interesting. Also looking forward to playing the Iran game. Whatever, something Axis, Iran.